Look, I'm not going to lie to you, I used to be just like you, sat there in your stash waiting for that silhouette to craft because the idea of going to Crack House alone to find one makes your little chocolate starfish twitch like you've just had 2 pints of Cobra and a chicken madras. We've all been there. Escape from Tarkov can be terrifying. But today, I want to tell you how I overcame the anxiety that playing solo can cause and why it's so important for you to do so as well. Now first, let's talk about why you should play solo. Solo playing Escape from Tarkov can be one of the most rewarding ways to experience this game, and if you're stuck in your stash too scared to play because your friends aren't online, you are seriously missing out. For one of the major benefits of playing solo is it actually gets you to learn the game yourself. I spent like 200 hours playing this game only with my friends. I would progress through the wipes, I would level up, but I would not learn exactly how to do these things on my own. I would spend so much time just following them from door to door, room to room, with them leading the way and essentially completing my quests for me. And as a result, I wasn't learning anything and I certainly wasn't progressing my skill at this game. And on top of that, when you learn to play Escape from Tarkov on your own, you actually learn that there's some major benefits you get from being on your own. For example, comms are completely clear. Anything you see in any of the raids that you play are all up for grabs. You can shoot anything and you don't have to worry about shooting your teammate in the head and then getting an earful and loads of passive-aggressive comments for the next couple of hours. And not only that, when you do make those kills and you do take on a 2-man and win, or you get to a big loot room first, everything in that room, everything on those dead players, everything on those dead scavs is completely yours. As someone who only has time to play a few hours a night, when I'm playing with some of my friends who are playing for like 4 to 6 hours a day, the fact of the matter is my skills aren't leveled up as much, so I can't run as quick as them, which means they beat me to every single loot room, which basically means that although I'm completing my quests when I'm playing with them, sometimes I'm leaving with an empty backpack and no rubles in my stash. But if you're playing on your own, you don't have to worry about any of this and you can take the game at your own pace and play the game exactly how you want. But anyway, I'm going to give you some of my best tips for how I overcame my solo anxiety and how now I actually play solo like the majority of the time. So the first thing that I want to talk about is going to actually be the headsets that you wear in the game. For the longest time, I would literally just whack on whatever headset I had lying around in my stash. It didn't matter if it was the GSSH, the M32s, the contacts, whatever I had, I was using. And sometimes I'd even take the headset off if it was raining because I couldn't stand the noise. Now this is an extremely bad way to play if you're an anxious player, and I'll explain why. Every single headset in Escape from Tarkov has a different sound profile, and as such some headsets sound vastly different to other ones, and essentially what this means is you can be hearing things through one headset that you otherwise would not hear through the other. And this can create so much fear and anxiety when you're playing the game, and it can actually make you not want to move because you don't understand where these sounds are coming from. Now on top of this, every single headset also has a range that they can hear things from. So the M32s, for example, are like 80 meters. I don't know if that's 100% correct, but for argument's sake, let's say that that is the case. Now the GSSH, for example, might only be 60 meters. The way that your headset in real life is going to work is that at the maximum distance that you can hear a footstep is going to be the same volume in your headset from the Contact 2s to the M32s. Now if you're only ever using one headset and you get used to that sound profile, you're going to be able to tell how far away someone is, recognize what sort of material they're walking on, and overall you'll be a lot more comfortable with what you're hearing. Like I said, when I was just using any old random headset, I found myself not knowing exactly where someone is. And when you don't know if someone's like 10 meters away or 40 meters away, 9 times out of 10, the thing that you're going to do most is hide in a corner like a little puss. And the longer you stay hidden in that corner listening to these phantom sounds, the more scared you get, the more anxious you get. And then when you finally do see a PMC or even a scav, you're going to fumble hard and probably die. Again, reinforcing the fact that you should have been scared in that situation. When in reality, if you were used to the sounds you were hearing, you'd have known that you would have been safe to just slip out the back or even push that enemy instead of just cowering like a baby. Now, the next thing that I made sure I did is that with every single raid I played, I set extremely specific goals. Now these can be very, very simple if you're a new player. It can be as simple as just find 5 scavs and kill them for a quest, or it can be I need to get to the USEC building in customs and I need to do that as quickly as possible, and then making a beeline for that area whilst being cautious of your surroundings on the way. When you go into a raid with no clear goal and no clear outcome of what you want to achieve whilst you're in that game, chances are you're just going to wander around listening for other players, listening for gunshots, and then not knowing what to do, and again just hiding and staying still and being very scared. Whereas if you load into a game, you go to your quest objective and then your aim is to get out as quickly as possible, chances are you will find people on the way, but because you haven't been just stood still in a bush for 15 minutes, you're going to be a lot sharper and you're going to be a lot more reactive, and you're probably going to get that kill. And then finally, something that I do every single time I turn on Escape from Tarkov that has helped me probably the most out of everything is playing the map Factory. Factory is a godsend for anxious players because, let's be honest, if you've never played Factory before, it's fucking scary. But equally, it gives you the opportunity to get in PvP very, very fast and very, very often with a minimal turnaround if you die. What this means is if you set aside 30 to 45 minutes at the beginning of every single play session just to play Factory, one of two things are going to happen. Worst case scenario is you die every single raid, but you get that feeling of dying out of the way early. If you hop into your first game of the evening into Streets or Lighthouse or Customs and you have a very specific task you want to get done, chances are you're going to play that very slowly and very scared because you don't want to die. However, if you die like 4 times in a row on Factory, you're going to become very desensitized to that feeling of death. And at the end of the day, that's what all of this anxiety is about. The only reason you feel scared is because you don't want people to make you jump and kill you out of nowhere. I know a lot of people like to say that it's gear fear, but I honestly don't believe it is. I couldn't care less about the gear that I'm wearing most of the time because, let's be honest, I'm not even that high level and it didn't cost me much in the first place. What I was scared about was actually literally being scared. Literally someone jumping out of nowhere and making me jump. And if you get all of that out of the way early in a few Factory raids first thing, I promise you this is going to completely desensitize you to these deaths and that feeling of anxiety overall. And then best case scenario in these Factory raids is you actually get a few kills and manage to extract, which boosts your confidence, gets you ready for that PvP and gets the blood pumping, and also gets you a few free kits that you can take in on those first few raids, so you have literally nothing to worry about and no care in the world even if you do die. I did make a video about this in the past where I suggested that you go offline on Factory and set it to Horde mode so that you could get used to firing your weapon, but this really doesn't simulate the raw feeling you get of terror when you're in a live public server. The fact of the matter is, scavs really aren't that scary. The fear comes when you don't know if you just heard a scav or if you heard a real player with a meta round 4 and a slick and an ult in, and there's nothing you can do about it, and they're going to pop out of nowhere and absolutely bend you over and take you to Browntown. The thing is, playing an offline raid can be good for learning maps or getting used to the weapon mechanics, but at the end of the day, nothing is going to prepare you for the raw feeling of an Escape from Tarkov raid other than actually playing Escape from Tarkov. And I really do think that playing Factory is the best way to get this condensed into a few minutes so that you can get all of that fear and all of that anxiety out of your system and then get on with the rest of your play session. Escape from Tarkov is punishing. Escape from Tarkov can be brutal, it is hard, and playing solo is one of the best ways that you can play this game if you can just get over that anxiety. But anyway, that's it from this little video. I really hope that it helps some of you guys out, and if you're interested to see what Escape from Tarkov can be like from the perspective of a casual player, check this video out now. Anyway, that's it from me today. I'm Average Joel. Peace.